Welcome to City Council meeting August 21st, 7 o'clock. Clarence, you want to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Lisa?
Lord, thank you for this evening and the opportunity for the gathering to take place this evening. We ask for your presence to be here as things are discussed and decisions are made. God, we ask for unity. And Lord, we ask for all things to be done for the good of all. We thank you again for those that have come this evening, for the servants' hearts that are here, that are taking care of our city. In your name, amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Welcome again. Please silence your cell phones if you haven't done so, and we'll proceed to roll call.
Councilwoman Barrett.
Present.
Councilman Williams Jr.
President.
Councilwoman Phillips. Councilman Robb.
Here.
Councilman Gray.
Present.
Councilman Collins.
Present.
Councilman Werner.
Here.
Okay, we'll move on to the minutes of the last meeting of August 7th, 2023. Are there any additions or corrections? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Motion.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
So approved. We'll move on down to new business.
Pending ordinance 3904 is a transfer within the Parks Department, moving $10,500 from pool concessions to unemployment. Pending ordinance 3905 is a ordinance to transfer within the council department, moving $30,000 from fringe into other contractual, moving $1,000 from fringe into grant expenses, moving $300 from fringe into the help grant expenses, and $2,700 from fringe into 911 maintenance.
Are there any questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Motion.
Second.
Okay, we approved the first reading.
All in favor?
Or wait a minute, I'm sorry. All in favor?
Aye.
Yes.
Aye.
All opposed? No. Okay. Motion to suspend the rules.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor, say yes.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, third and final reading.
Motion.
And, okay, second, you got it? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, passed. Okay, moving on, we'll go to the departments. Let's see. Brad's not here. John's not here. Clint?
Present.
You're present. You've got the floor.
I think you're going to set a new record tonight. So everyone should have a copy of my monthly report for July. We had a total of 367 calls for service. Puts your year-to-date at 2,238. So 367 runs is, for July, was the busiest month so far this year, and it was the second busiest. We kind of go on a rotating rolling period, so it was the second busiest in the last 12 months. No one is off for any notifications come up for FMLA at this point in time. So we're back up to full staffing, but it's also height of vacation season, so it's not one, it's the other. So see our fuel usage, and 24 staff hours at the fair for the month of July, which most of the fair happened in August. So, but I'll give you a complete fair recap next month. We do have 2 employees that are either starting paramedic school. One started today, and we have another one that's going to be starting. So we have 2. We also, just last week, she EMT Nimaway Rymiller, she graduated from the IU Lifeline program the first week in August, And last week, we got all her paperwork filled out, and she's now licensed paramedic in the state of Indiana and nationally registered as well. So she holds 2 certifications. So very pleased about that. There was one thing I wanted to kind of, on the overdose report, kind of trended up a little bit. I do get some notifications from the health department when we get a spike. I'm not sure, it's more real time than mine. We did have a bump here a week or 2 ago. Haven't seen anything since, so it just ebbs and flows. Sometimes we get a lot, sometimes we're down, so no real rhyme or reason to that. And then the last page is an email that I received from the ER. It was a very, very difficult call. I can't go into details, but it was not one that anybody wants. And if the doctors and nurses sit down at their computer and take a minute to write an email saying how good things went, then that really means something, or it does in my book. So, because I've worked in the ER, I know how busy they are. So, they took time to recognize our staff and how good we did. So, really meant a lot. So, I just kind of wanted to pass that along. We hear a lot of negatives, we hear a lot of complaints, but we don't hear a lot of the good stuff. So, if I hear good stuff, by George, I'm gonna pass it on. So,
That's great.
does anybody have any?
Good job.
Anybody have any? Wasn't me. So,
Yeah, but
it was them.
your
So,
crew.
Anybody have any questions? All right, thank you.
Okay, thanks, Clint. Marla, you're up.
Good evening.
Just an update for the fair. We did close out the fair with a little bit of overtime because we had our crew working mornings, picking up trash and cleaning restrooms and things, and then in the evenings, we also had the same workers, well, one worker a night, evenings and weekends, and so that put us just a little bit over on overtime, but it was a great week, and everything went pretty smoothly. The next thing on the list is I wanted to talk a little bit about Community Day of Sharing. That's going to happen on October 4th. And I'm on that committee, and we've been preparing for that day. And there's going to be many locations that are going to be participating, and we are going to be one of the locations. And we're going to hopefully be at 2nd Street Park. We have a fence that needs to be put up. We have some benches that need to be installed, and then hopefully we'll have some shrubs and bushes and greenery and things that will be able to be planted that day as well. So we will be there at 2nd Street Park on October 4th. The pool, we are closed for the season. We have been draining the pool and starting the preparations for winterizing that. So I just wanted to let everybody know and thank everyone who came out this summer. A couple of things that we're planning for upcoming events is a trunk or treat. We are partnering with the first responders here in the community, and we're going to be putting on a trunk or treat on October 30th. That's the Monday before Halloween, and that will be at the park. We're asking for different organizations, businesses to come and set up and decorate their trunks and hand out candy to the community. And so we have on our Facebook page a link that you can go and sign up to have a trunk in the trunk or treat for that day. We are still continuing preparations for Christmas in the park, and there's a link also on Facebook for signing up to do that as well. So we're looking for different organizations, businesses, churches, whomever, to help us decorate the park for the month of December. For sports, flag football, soccer, and machine pitch softball signups have closed, and that season will hopefully begin. I believe the weekend after Labor Day is when those opening days will begin. We have a pickleball tournament on September 17th, and registration is open currently, and that's also posted on our Facebook page. You can go to that link and sign up online. We're doing something new this year. We're partnering with the farmers market, and we're gonna have a Renaissance Festival and Highland Games. And there's signups going on right now, and between now and the Renaissance Fair, anyone that signs up with us to participate in the Highland Games, we've partnered with BAM, and they can go to BAM Fitness and do strength training during their open gym times at no cost if they sign up through us first. So that's a great perk that BAM Fitness has offered to the community for those who want to participate in the Highland Games. So we have those signups going on right now. And just a recap on some of the events, we have pickleball tournament on September 17th with online registration. Community Day of Sharing is October 4th. Renaissance Festival and Highland Games is October 12th. And signups are online as well for that. And then our First Responders Community Trunk or Treat is October 30th. Anybody have any questions?
Is the trunk or treat kind of similar to what they did a number of years ago through where the path through the park?
We're going to use like the middle circle area of the park. So they'll come in and then that whole area that starts down around the dog park and goes up by the amphitheater and then back around again.
Okay.
We're gonna start there and use that whole area. If we need to expand it, depending on how many come to set up, then we can expand it. But that's
Okay.
our goal, is to use that circle.
Okay. Any other questions?
You offered vendors for the Renaissance area. Have you reached out to vendors for selling items, handmade items and that throughout this general tri-state area?
The farmer's market is taking care of the vendors. We're just taking care of the Highland Games. And so I know that the farmer's market has been reaching out to different individuals to sign up, and they are looking for handmade items that will sell well at the farmer's market that evening. But they're the ones that are taking care of the vendors, so I'm not really sure who they've reached out to.
I know other communities do similar to this, and it turns out to be a big event.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what we're hoping for, and we want to continue it year after year. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Anyone else?
Okay.
Thanks, Marla.
Have a great evening, thank you.
Scott?
Good evening. All right, the monthly report for Connersville Fire Department for the month of July. Start off with overtime. Total overtime was $4,260.42. Manpower shortage portion of that was $3,263.52. The FLSA portion was $662.22, and we did have a fire call in where we called guys into a fire. Overtime for that was $334.68. You can see over to the right, the running total so far through the end of July, we're at $29,137.16. We're running pretty good compared to the last couple of years, as you can see. Moving on down to fuel usage. We used 498 gallons of fuel for July for a cost of $1,927.11. And total incidents for July was 224. We had 65 fire-related runs, 153 EMS-related runs, and we had 6 auto accidents. Moving on to the next page, training hours. Month of July, we had 72 instructed hours. 60 of those were fire-related instructed hours, 12 were EMS-related instructed hours. Total so far through the end of July, we had 450 hours of instructed training. We did a total of 8 inspections for the month. We're a little low on inspections. The guys were going through a class, so that took some of the time away from inspections, so those should bump up the next month. Investigations, we had a couple fires, so we had a little over 23 hours of fire investigation for the month also. And then beyond that, you can see the summaries of all the numbers I just gave you. If you'd like to look through those. Any questions on the report?
I have one question about the old FOP reval on that.
I basically just got one small pile I have to get cleaned up. We got it pretty much cleaned up, all but one little pile right in the middle. Gotta get it cleaned up and going.
I appreciate it, thank you.
Yep.
Thanks, Scott.
All right, thank you.
Randy?
Good evening.
Good evening.
All right, our monthly report for July, as you can see, our overtime is high again, just over $10,000. July, though, is our busiest vacation month. Guys are still using their personal days, and we've had several detective call-ins that attributes to some of that overtime. Gallons of fuel, we're at 2,090. Any questions on our monthly reports? Incident reports, our accidents gone up quite a bit in July. Total incident calls is 1,051. You guys have a copy of that? Any questions on any of our incidents? Training hours, as a department, we trained 288 hours. Our K-9 division had 49 training hours. Detectives in July, they worked 25 cases and closed 15. On our drugs, 146 grams of marijuana, 2 grams of fentanyl, 9 grams of meth, approximately 30 pills. 5 of the traffic stops were by K-9 indications. We took in 111 needles, 12 various paraphernalia, and 1 gun. That's it for the month. Also, our newest officer, Will Smith, went for his assessment today, and he was accepted into the academy coming this Monday, so we don't have to wait until January, so we're excited about that.
Yeah, that's good.
Snuck him in there, so
Yeah.
he'll be gone next Monday, starting. Hallelujah. Any questions?
I have one. Are you beefing up the patrol for speeding vehicles?
They do it constantly, yeah. That's one of the,
Getting
probably the number one that they work on, speeding.
lots of reports of speeding
Yeah,
vehicles.
can't get them all, but they're pushing pretty hard on those. So,
Okay, thank you.
yeah.
Any other questions? Thanks, Randy.
All right, thank
Appreciate
you.
it. Nick's not out there, is he?
No.
Okay. Okay, we'll move on to old business. Any old business? Okay, we'll move on to miscellaneous business. Just a comment, next meeting will be September 5th on Tuesday, which is Labor Day weekend, so it'll be on Tuesday instead of Monday. So you might note that if you haven't already. Is there any other miscellaneous business? Okay, if not, we'll go to public forum. Do we have anybody who wants to chat?
I do. Good evening.
State your name and address.
Amy Carnes, 407 Vine Street,
Mm-hmm.
Connersville. I just had a couple questions regarding the drains on Vine Street. There's lots of flooding right in front of my house that I've been trying to get taken care of for years. I've talked with the city, I've talked with the state. I get conflicting reports. They're supposed to have worked on it years ago. They told me they had to tear the street up to do it. The drain went nowhere. I talked with Brad Colter and Brock Powell, who's the maintenance foreman that's doing the street paving right now.
Mm-hmm.
They were supposed to be looking at the drain to see if it went anywhere. They were supposed to put a camera in it. From what I've heard, there hasn't been anything resolved with that. They told me that they think, I was told originally the drain went nowhere. And they're telling me that there's a pipe that drains down to the river. they're thinking the pipe's only like 8 inches and it needs to be bigger, so that drains because there's no drains on Vine except for the 4 that are in my block. So the streets all drain to there, and the water just sits every time it rains.
And this is basically in front of your house then,
Mhm.
as far as, okay.
That whole block of Bolos 400 block. I've asked about it. I've been given a road sign to put out that there's high water for people to drive through because I have to keep calling the street department every time the water gets up because people just fly through there. The water ends up almost on my porch because it's in the flower bed. It's almost up to the porch. So I just want to know if you guys are aware of that, if you know of anything being done, why this can't be done, why the road's being worked on instead of waiting until we put new pavement down and then we're going to tear it up and try to fix it.
All right. We'll look into it. I'll look into it.
Now's the time to take care of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they tore up a big patch in front of the house and I thought, well, maybe they were going to look at the drain, the pipes there, but I didn't see any pipes exposed, so I don't know where they're at with that, but,
Maybe they're
Brad would know.
close to accidents there also.
yeah, I sent pictures to Brad and to Brock the other day. He gave me his business card and told me to call him when it was bad. So I took pictures and texted it to both of them. When they had the big hole there, somebody went down through there and almost hit the telephone pole because he hit that patch of water and he either was going to go in the hole they had open that they're working on the roads or he was going to hit the pole. So it's very dangerous when people come through there and they hit that water all of a sudden and then they start hydroplaning and I'm just waiting for somebody to wreck through there. It's very dangerous. So I'm trying to figure out who's really responsible for fixing it and what's going to get done with it. I know the water on John Street has been a problem because my mom lives on John Street and that's right around the corner.
I said it's around the corner. Yeah.
Because it seems like our side of town gets no care at all. And they've had drainage problems there. I don't know if their drain's the same as mine. It doesn't go anywhere or if it drains to the river, but every time it rains on that street, between her house and the house across the street, it's flooded. So,
Amy, I need to ask you what your last name is.
Clarence,
Carn? Can you spell it for me?
C-A-R-N-E-S,
And do you have the address of your mother?
532 John Street.
532 John Street?
I can answer the question about your mother's drain. That's not an actual storm sewer. That's actually just what they call around here is a French drain. It's just a hole in the ground with rocks in it. So just
I know
lets
they
it
had,
migrate through the sand and silt.
I know they had talked about when they paved the road, cleaning it out,
They didn't
but
touch
they
it.
never have cleaned it out. I mean, she's lived there ever since I was little, and I don't remember it ever being cleaned out.
Now, your water on Vine Street's been there somewhere around 70 years. 67, 70 years now. That problem's been there.
It's been there for a long time, because I've lived there for probably 25 years. And I've called, and they tell me that it's on the books, they're gonna work on it, then I call back and they said they did it, which they couldn't have done it, because I would have noticed if they tore the street up. So I just wonder why we can't do it right now. I mean, I know the money probably wasn't allocated for it, but why put the new pavement down and then tear the road up to fix the problem?
The utilities director and the mayor is out of office the rest of the week. So, we will get it on their desk.
Okay. I know there's an article, if you want to look at it, it's IC 8-23-6-3. It talks about city maintaining the sidewalks and the grass plates and the drainage facilities. Because I went back and forth between the two of them. It's a city problem, it's a state problem. Who's going to fix it? But in that article, it says that the department takes care of the gutters and the catch basin and the inlets. And the city's supposed to take care of the drainage, so.
Okay, we'll take it. We'll take a look at it and see if we can't get you some answers.
On that same thing, where they're working on the roads, okay, if the city takes care of sidewalks, the sidewalks where they've tore that out and they're putting in
Curb.
the curbs, they've been sitting there for a month now. It doesn't seem like they've done anything in a month. But now our sidewalks are falling in because that's open. There's nothing in between the curb and my sidewalk. So the the sidewalks are falling in, and there's grass growing in what they have there, which is gonna tear the sidewalks up, because I've never had grass problem with my sidewalk. I know everybody around me does, but now we're gonna have problems with the sidewalks because they're sitting there falling in. So I just would like some answers on that too, if that's gonna be addressed. Are we getting sidewalks with this project? Does anybody know that?
To my knowledge, it's not allocated for sidewalks in this resurfacing, is what I've been told.
There is another project going on that may help with the sidewalk problem as far as that part goes, but that's down the road yet still, and that's something that's a work in progress. I know of that.
Okay,
So that may be something that might
happen in the future.
happen, so.
Okay.
What she's referring to is a state law that requires the storm sewer be handled by the city, which also is a city storm sewer, and we all pay storm sewer fees. So I know there's some money there, I don't know how much. Because we spent some money on some other storm sewer projects, so. Rosemary has those figures, but I don't.
If there really is drain pipes there that go to the river and they need to be made bigger, that's something that.
I don't know as far as what's all involved, but we'll see if we can't get to the,
I've been told two different things. It
Yeah.
goes nowhere, and then I was told that it goes down to the river.
okay,
So I
well,
don't know.
Amy, we'll see if we can't figure out,
Then I
get you
have
some
another-
answers. Uh-huh.
Another, just something I'd like to get information on, the ball fields. That's probably a sore subject, but, since my daughter has played ball for years, we've coached down to rec league for years. The leagues down there are dwindling away. I don't know how many Marla had sign up, but in years past when I've coached down there, we've had lots of teams. It's dwindling down to this last season, there were 3 teams. Because everybody's going someplace else because we have no good place to play. They're not maintained down there, there's grass growing up, there's nobody. If we had tournaments in town, if we got the ball field done, if we got, the amphitheater could bring in a lot of money. If we had the problems there fixed, whatever handicap access wasn't done to start with, if that was done, if there was money allocated to that, that should have been done to fix that. You could bring in a lot of money if you had concerts with that amphitheater. And then we would have money to work on the fields. I mean, we don't have to make it $1 million field to start with. You can have 1 or 2 fields, bring in money, and then expand it. My concern is everybody's going out of town. There's no youth gonna be playing ball in town. They're gonna spend their money every place else. So why can't we get it fixed where we can have the money coming in here? I don't know if you know any further updates on where that's at, but while I was here, I just figured I would bring that
Sure.
up to you.
It's noted. We'll see if what we,
Are you referring to River's Edge?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that's,
I was assuming, but I don't like to assume, so.
yeah. I mean, it's been in the works forever, and there's lots of money that can be made there, starting with the amphitheater, which is gonna be rat infested before it ever gets used.
there were a lot of problems that were having to be addressed with that were not in the initial.
I know there's a lot of money going out, which I like seeing stuff coming into town, but there's a lot of money going out to the vendors, going to the airport. I mean, if there's money to spend to that, can't we use money to work on what needs to be finished down there so we can get more grants?
It's being looked at.
All right, thank you.
Mhm.
Thanks.
Thanks. Is there anybody else? Hello.
Lori Moth, I live at 535 John Street. And just to touch on what Amy was saying, her mom lives right across the street from us, so this water issue on John Street does still affect all of us. And we're told so many different things by Chad and by Brad about, you know, the drain system, we're gonna do this, no, we're not gonna do anything. We would just appreciate an honest answer. You know, not trying to give us an answer that is not gonna go anywhere. So, that's-
Okay.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank
Thank you. Is there anybody else out there or anything? Okay. Let's close.
We need a motion to
Can
adjourn.
I have a motion to close the public forum?
No, just adjourn. Just a motion.
Oh, we get adjourned?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second?
All in favor?
Oh, I got all in favor, I'm sorry. Anybody against? No? Okay, we're adjourned.